What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another bit of a debate regarding Heung-min Son. And we're going to be talking about the age-old debate now, whether it's left-wing striker, where does he suit our system now? And Ali Gold has caused a bit of a stir on social media, to put it lightly, with this tweet that he's put out. So let's just read this tweet and then we'll get into it. And so the tweet says, by Ali Gold, I've seen a couple of replies suggesting Spurs should instead get a statement signing of a left wing. Son is going to be Spurs' left winger next season. Werner and Johnson are good options as well, and Solomon too. Statement signings for me are needed in other positions.
That was off the back of an article he did about Tottenham getting Timo Werner on a permanent basis, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot has been made out of that tweet, and we've got one of the biggest Heung-min Son left wing enthusiasts about to come on and give us his 2 cents on the matter, and we'll have a little debate. But so let's introduce, he doesn't really need an introduction, but it is the Irish Hotspur. Big up to David. David, how you doing, my friend?
Good afternoon, boys. Hope you're keeping well, and good afternoon all Tottenham fans out there as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. You got the right man on for the job this time.
100%. But we still are only seeming to get you on after a loss, a 4-0 loss last time. But it is the North London derby coming next week, where a certain someone will be down in London and hoping to get 3 points. But this is not about North London derby. This is not about losses or wins. This is about Heung-min Son. So on the face of things, what was your reaction to that Ali Gold tweet? Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I completely agree with him. For me, like, look, I've been on here throughout the season always arguing that Sonny needs to be out on the left-hand side. For me, what this team really needs is a clinical number 9, an out-and-out striker, because playing up front is more than just running in behind. And that's where Son, gets a lot of his goals and stuff like that, is from running in behind. It's where he's most useful to Tottenham Hotspur. But in recent weeks, what you're seeing more and more is teams are sitting back. They're not allowing any space in behind. And all of our front three all want the same thing, space in behind. Sonny is not at his best when he plays with his back to goal. And that's what every great striker has to do, is play with their back to goal. Sometimes fend off 2-3 players, link up, try and get turned and stuff like that. But also in recent weeks as well, I see Son getting very frustrated playing down the middle, because we're finding it very hard to get him into games. And what great strikers usually do is they can go large periods without being on the ball and stuff like that, but they're disciplined. They stay on the last shoulder, always look for that chance. And I just feel at times Son is maybe losing that discipline and sort of wants to get involved in the game and stuff like that. I don't blame him, because he's always been that guy off the left wing. Get him the ball, let him go and create. And for me, I just think we're wasting Son up front. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's done a great job in stepping in. But a huge part of the problem at Tottenham down the years has been repurposing players. Son is not a striker. He's filled in years gone by when Harry Kane was out, and he's filled in this season as well. But we need to get him back out onto the left wing. There's no point of having him up front when we're not creating, and he's our best creator in the team.
Looking at what Ali Gold said in the tweet, he said, next season he sees Son going back out to the left, and that he's kind of used that as a reason why we should get Timo Werner on a permanent, and then also use a statement signing to be maybe the number 9. Other fans, including myself, I would say, I want a statement signing on the wing. I think we need a winger who's a bit younger, a bit fresher, a bit more ability to relentlessly take on his man and keep the ball up the pitch. For you, when Ali Gold says he doesn't think we need a statement signing on the wing, do you agree with that?
No, I disagree with that. I would like a statement signing on the wing and up front. Scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in football. When you look at our front line lately, it's very lackluster. It's very boring. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on this system and on Ange Postecoglou in general at this moment in time. Yes, people make arguments. Some of the signings he's using are ones that he's brought into the club and stuff like that. But for me, teams are finding it very easy against us lately. They just sit on the edge of their own box, block it up, wait to take the ball off us and counter. Everyone's blaming that defence against Newcastle for the amount of goals we conceded. 3 of the goals came off the back line, not being able to hold up the play and stuff like that. So for me, when we have the possession, we're sitting in the opposition half for long periods of time, but we don't do enough with that possession. We don't capitalize on it. Postecoglou's game is all about possession with a purpose, which means he wants to go and score goals and kill teams off. We're not doing that. Brennan Johnson blows too hot and cold. That's why there's so much debate about him. When he plays well, the Johnson fans will go to the Johnson skeptics, told you so. And when Johnson doesn't play well, the Johnson skeptics will answer back with the same thing. Same with Timo Werner. This front line is what needs to be revamped. We knew it would once we sold Kane and Son's getting on in age as well. This front line needs revamped, and it needs a statement sign up front and out wide.
So you look at it though with Heung-min Son, and you've seen it with other players as well. Like say Cristiano Ronaldo, for an example, where he started on the wings. As he gets older, progressively older, he moved to a central role and became one of the best strikers in the world. And you're looking at Heung-min Son now, and he's always played on the left, like you mentioned. But this season, 19 games as a centre forward, 12 goals, 5 assists. When he's been playing as a left winger this season, 10 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. So I mean, the ratio is clearly better when he is playing as a number 9. But also, what I would like to say to that is that you don't need to shoehorn him into one particular position, where I think that different games call for different situations. And, against low blocks, you probably don't want to see him in the number 9. You want to see him out on the left-hand side. And against teams that play a high line, like your Arsenals, like your Liverpools, like your Man Cities, you probably want to see him in the number 9 so you can get him more in behind, more frequently. But the way I look at it in terms of what statement signings we need this summer, I do think it's predominantly on the wing. And when you're looking at what Ange Postecoglou needs in a left winger, I don't think it's the attributes that Song has brought us on the left wing in a Spurs shirt ever since he's come here, cutting inside, providing creativity, and also providing that whipping shot from the edge of the area, which, he doesn't get in the positions to do that in an Ange Postecoglou system. He needs to stay out wide, he needs to get crosses in the box, and he needs to arrive late at the back post to receive the crosses from the other winger. So do you think that the way Song plays left winger, that he's suited to Ange Postecoglou's left wing role?
Look, he's not ideal, right? The fact that he wants to cut him, but Son can go on the outside as well. That's what makes Son great. He can beat his man on the outside and the inside. I hear what you're saying about the flexibility of being able to, play him up front when teams are playing high lines and moving them out wide when teams aren't. But for me, you can keep him off that left-hand side. If you get a good striker, who can hold up the ball and feed Son, and he can still make them runs like he used to do when Harry Kane was up front. We could still exploit that high line with him off the left-hand side. And for me, it's about going and getting the right player with all the right attributes can play up there to enhance Son's game off the left-hand side. You look at Son's numbers down the middle. They're very good this season. I can't deny that. But we also can't deny he would have got more or less numbers similar to that off the wing in years gone by and stuff like that as well. So for me, I would like the flexibility. And with Son, you'll always have that flexibility. But go and get a proper number 9. Stop trying to repurpose players. It didn't work out for us with Eric Dyer. Hasn't worked out for us with Davies and people like that. With Son, he's world class. He'll always score goals no matter where you put him. But it's where he's best served for Tottenham Hotspur. And for me, it is definitely in the creative department. He'll always get goals once he has other players he can link up with. I think a lot of his problems so far this season is the fact that, he doesn't really have that sort of link-up player, that fluidity and movement with the likes of Johnson and Werner and teams like that. So for me, it's all about putting Son in the best position for Tottenham Hotspur and putting the right components around him. So it'd be interesting to see what the actual plans is this summer, whether Tottenham do go for a striker, whether they do go for wingers. But if we really want to go and chase down the top teams like Postecoglou wants to do, like he's been stating all season, like many fans want to do, it can't just be a statement signing in one or the other. You've got to go and fill that front line with quality, because you're going to come up with low blocks more and more next season with the way we play, with how we dominate. So a lot more games next season are going to be not tailored to Son's best attributes. I would make that argument.
But when you've seen Son off the left this season, I mean, he has had some good games, like the Newcastle game comes to mind. I think maybe he's played well against Bournemouth at home. He got a goal as well. He has had a few goal contributions off the left, but has his best performances this season been off the left? Do you still think he's a consistent performer in that position compared to when we do play him up front? I think that seems to bring the best out of him a bit more. Or do you still think when you see Son at his best for you this season, you think it's been off the left?
Yeah, I do. But look, when I look at that situation, I think we need to have an honest conversation as Tottenham fans about that situation. Why is Son's numbers nowhere near as good off the left as they once were? She doesn't have to link up with Harry Kane. How many times did Harry Kane take the ball in and be able to unleash Son in behind and stuff like that? He doesn't have that player he can work with when he is playing off the left-hand side. And for me, that's a huge problem. But as Spurs fans, we won't have this honest conversation about it because most people wanted to cash in on the guy for the money at the time in the summer. And we've never gone out and replaced it. And that's where our problem lies, is we didn't replace Harry Kane properly over the summer, and that's why Son's numbers are affected off the left-hand side and nowhere near what they have been in years gone by.
But I think that can be a factor in it for sure. I agree with you, it's a factor, but you got to recognise the fact that he's not getting any younger. You know, the guy's into his 30s now, 32, going to be 33 next season, and when players get to that certain,
30 odd, and he was playing down the left.
Yeah, and he was playing left wing back and he couldn't do that role anymore. He couldn't do it whatsoever. Last year, he was getting found out time and time again in that left wing back role where he made such a big... Yeah, but that's where he made a big name for himself, right? In the left wing back role under Conte.
Son's not going to have too many defensive...
Yeah, but playing Perisic off the left gets the best out of his best attributes, which is crossing the ball, getting to the byline and crossing. That's what he's really great at. Is that Son's best attribute? His crossing. I would argue it's his finishing ability, and the more times you get him in those positions to finish and score, that's going to get the best out of him. And you're only going to do that for me by playing him centrally rather than off the left. That's when you get the best out of his best attributes. And I agree. Like he's 31. He'll be, as you say, 32 next season. How many 32-year-olds right now in European football are excelling on the wing? I can't think of too many.
Yeah, look, fair point. But for me, I think we're almost doing Son just a disservice, just using him up front, just for his finishing ability alone. He's much more than that. You know, he frightens other teams when he's running at them. The reason why Son keeps coming out of that forward position and getting on the ball and trying to get turned is because he wants to get in a position where he's running at the defenders. And that's where he's most lethal. That's where he's most comfortable. The guy, he's got great running ability. He can dribble. He can take players on. He can score goals. He can also cross the ball. And for me, when you put him up front, you're just shoehorning him into being a finisher solely, and that's it. But when you look back at some of the games this year, it's crying out for Son to be getting on the ball in a deeper position and running at things. There's no point of playing him up front, especially between now and the end of the season, if we're not creating chances. You know, there's no point. You're just absolutely nullifying Son altogether. For me, at least until the end of the season, put him back out on the left and let's get creating chances again. You know, for instance, the chances that fell to Werner against Newcastle, some would have buried both of them. You know, so I don't buy into this argument that Son is finished off the left-hand side and can't play there. He's not going to have too much defensive responsibility if you put him back out there. So therefore, you can more or less sort of tell him, like you do with some great players, conserve your energy for when you're on the ball and get going forward. And that's how you can manage Son going forward. But look, for me, it's a conversation that's arisen because we're not scoring enough goals and we're not creating enough. And Son, ideally, he's our best at both, right? So it's just sort of, where do we put him that's most effective for Tottenham Hotspur? Until we get all the other pieces to the puzzle, for me, it has to be left wing.
Yeah, but I disagree with that. And I agree in a sense that he's not done on the left wing because I still think that he's got a lot more to give on that left-hand side. But I just feel like he's changing as a football player. And I think that his best performances this season have come from number 9. I think the numbers completely speak for themselves. 17 goal contributions in 19 games this season. That is monstrous numbers, and I don't think any number 9 in the Premier League has got anywhere close to the ratios that he's probably got this season. And that finishing ability, nobody has that finishing ability in the Premier League. Look at Erling Haaland. Everyone talks about him as a great finisher. How many big chances does he miss every single season? How many big chances has he missed this season? Darwin Núñez, people like that. I mean, to get Heung-min Son closer to the goal, and particularly from now until the end of the season when we're going to be predominantly playing teams with a high line, we have to keep Sonny in the number 9 from now until the end of the season, maybe bar the Sheffield United and the Burnley game if they're going to play low blocks against us, which I doubt Burnley will, but maybe Sheffield United will. But the likes of the Arsenals, the Man Cities, the Liverpools, you have to stick him in the number 9 to get him in those right positions.
Who's going to feed him? Werner's not feeding him, Johnson's not feeding him, and neither is Maddison. And that's where my problem is. You know, no one around him is feeding him.
Who's been feeding him all season? How's he got these numbers?
Yeah, look, I'm not denying that he scored goals, but you go back and look at some of the games, he's doubled up in some of the games and stuff like that in terms of goals and stuff like that. But, you know, he's not the answer to being a striker at Tottenham Hotspur. There's so many other elements to being a striker that he just lacks right now. He can't play with his back to goal. 2 goals that he gave away against Luton when it started, 2 of the goals we gave away against Newcastle start with him losing the ball, not having that physicality to be able to deal with the pressure on him. He also gave one away against Luton as well. So as much as we're going to argue it's productive, it's also been counterproductive to Tottenham in recent times as well. In the amount of times he gives away the ball, get muscled off, they go up the other end and score. We keep talking about being countered. We talk about the number 6, we talk about the back line. But we also have to have honest conversations about the front line. They also have to do a lot better in terms of holding up the ball and stuff like that. So for me, I get what you're saying, but there's no point of playing a guy up front if you've got no one to feed him. Make him the feeder and put someone else up front. If Richarlison's back, get him back up front. I think Richarlison with him up front, we've won. I think we've won 12 games or something like that, drawn 3 and lost 1 or 2 or something like that with him up front. The biggest thing with Son, we go on like we need him closer to the goal and we need to get him in and goal. You buy a proper striker like we've had in years gone by that actually has, his quality, has the brain power to be able to link up with Sonny and stuff. You get him back in positions where he can get on goal and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be just down the middle.
But I feel like when we have Son, when we have Son in the middle, it's just so much more advantageous when we do get those chances. The problem what I'm seeing with when we have him on the left, he's not getting in those positions to score. He's not getting those goal scoring positions because he's so busy stuck out wide, hugging the touchline. And if that is what Ange wants from his winger, all the time hugging the touchline and literally staying really far out wide, then all of a sudden for me, if that's how Ange wants to play his winger, we have to start having an uncomfortable conversation if Son's going to be our left winger, whether we should be looking to upgrade on him. Because I think as a left winger, for me, he's upgradable. As a striker with that finishing ability, I think it's a lot harder to upgrade on him, in my opinion. So then for me, if we're going into next season thinking he's going to be our left winger, I think next season you'll see a lot of people saying we're going to have an uncomfortable conversation about it, in my opinion.
Well, that conversation has to come anyway. He's 31, 32 years of age. He's not getting any younger. So, if we were acting proper as a club, there'd already be sort of plans in place to be able to upgrade him. And then again, that's why we need to be making statement signings now in that forward line, because Son isn't getting any younger. We've got 2-3 years of Son left at his very, very best. So we should already be having them conversations anyway. But look, for me, I just think right now, he's so much better purposed as a left wing. We go right now, Postecoglou wants his wingers to hug the touchlines and stuff. I get that. But, if you get him better pieces to the puzzle, you get him a proper number 9 up there where you can actually put crosses into the box rather than having to do the same goal every single time, look to get on the outside and put it across 6-yard box. If you've got a proper striker in there, it gives you a different dimension to how you play, how you create chances and stuff like that. Next season, we ain't going to get away with just creating the one way of chances. You look at Arsenal, City, Liverpool, they create chances and they score goals from various different sort of routines, set pieces, crosses into the box and stuff. They don't just score the one type of goal. With Sonny up front, you almost have to score the perfect goal. You almost have to, that's what we're seeing a lot of times this season. We're trying to walk through teams. Against low block teams and stuff like that, you have to have a different option. You have to be able to put the ball in the box and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here ripping down Son. Like I said, he's done fantastic. And he's done a great job for us filling up front. But there's a lot more to striker that you need over the course of a whole season if you're talking about challenging and stuff like that. That Son just doesn't have. That doesn't suit Son's best attributes.
But when we're looking at the two positions, what we're obviously, I know you said we want us to have a statement signing up on the striking position and on the left. But if I'm looking at our number 9 position this season, Richarlison's on 15 goals. Richarlison's on 11 goals. Son's on 15 goals. Predominantly, Richarlison's goals have come against the bottom 10 sides. Predominantly, Son's goals have come against the top 10 sides, but they both have a good amount of goals, right? So it seems as though we have that solution up front. Whereas on the wing, at the moment, for me, it doesn't seem like we have that solution. So when I hear we need to sign a statement striker, I'm like, I think we. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm much more comfortable with having Son as Richarlison as our number 9 options going forward rather than our wing options. And I think having a winger, signing a winger in the summer, it should be our priority. If you could only sign one, a number 9 or a winger, like we could only make a statement signing in one of those positions. Which one are you picking?
Striker.
Striker.
And the reason why you look at Son and Richarlison's goals, combine them. Harry Kane still scored more than them in one season. You know, a great striker will bag you 20, 25, 30 goals a season. And that's the level we need to get back to. Once you have that up front, Son's assists, Son's goals will happen a lot more predominantly off the left-hand side. Same with whoever plays the right-hand side. I'd argue Kulu's numbers have been affected because you don't have that, you know, that great striker up front as well. So not having that striker is actually causing a problem right across the front three. It's causing a problem for them midfielders as well because everything has to be the same and stuff like that. So for me, I think you bring in a striker, I think it rectifies a lot of problems. Also, if anyone's watched the latest Man City documentary on Netflix, they gave the reason why they signed Haaland was against low block teams and stuff like that. So you could just put the ball in the box and let him go and attack it because the way they were working it didn't suit, you know, a lot of games. So there's a reason why they went and signed Haaland. Has anyone asked questions why Liverpool went and signed Darwin Núñez and opted to go with a big guy up front and stuff like that? Because you need it in the Premier League. It's big, it's physical. You need guys up there that can play with their back to goal, hold the ball up, play others in, spin off, you know, be able to go and attack crosses. There's a lot more than just being one-dimensional. I think when you play Son up front, it becomes a bit one-dimensional with him just shoehorn through the middle. So for me, I think we need a striker that you can bring in here because most strikers, great strikers, will score goals in this system. They are going to score goals. So for me, you go out and get a striker, and I think it'll alleviate a lot of our problems.
I think in reality, we probably need one in each, one on the left, one on the right, and one in the middle to really do what we want to do. I mean, the full guy in the number 9 position for me has got to be Richarlison over Son, though. Like, if we could have a really big target man, let's say a Santiago Jimenez to rotate with Son in the number 9 position. When Santiago's in the number 9, you move Son out to the left. You bring a Nico Williams as well that can play on both wings, on the right or the left. And then you have a Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson to provide competition as well. I think that's the way you got to go.
Yeah, look, well, Sim did only say he could pick one, Ben, so it's either a winger or
I'm just furthering that.
But Dave, do you not think, like, when it comes to us being one-dimensional, a bigger problem for that is not the striker, it's actually the wingers are extremely one-dimensional, the wingers that we have.
Yeah, to a certain degree, but they can't get the ball out of their feet and ping it into the box, can they? Because they can't find Son. He's getting lost. He's getting swallowed up in there with 2, 3, 6 foot plus defenders in there and stuff. So you almost have to beat your man and play these low crosses and pullbacks and stuff like that. You know, when you have Richarlison up front, you watch the guy score goals from corners, from crosses into the box that he goes and gets on the end of and stuff like that. You know, and for me, when you play Son up front, if you want to tailor to get Son into the game and get him in his best positions, it makes you one-dimensional. When you've got a guy that has different attributes and can deal with a lot more of the things that you need to when you're playing up front, it gives you that different dimension. It means you don't always have to beat your man, go on the outside. It means you can cut on the inside, float a ball in and get him to go and attack it and stuff like that.
All right. Well, I guess we'll probably have to agree to disagree, but I think what we can agree with that we most definitely need to bring in players in the front line this summer. That is imperative. But just before we let you go, Dave, if I'm going to ask you what to pick your front three for the North London derby, who would you pick?
Well, look, I hope Big Pigeon is back. I really want him to be back. For me, if he's back, you put him up front, move Son back out to the left. And you know what? I'm going to be controversial here, but I'm going to put Kulu onto the right-hand side. I wasn't impressed with Brennan Johnson. And one thing that I've seen against Newcastle, what I didn't like, people go on about Tottenham didn't have a plan B to Newcastle's press. Vicario a couple of times tried to bypass that press and put it into the forward line, especially out towards Brennan Johnson. But he was caught napping on the halfway line, and no one could get on the ball, hold it up, and help us get out. That's what we really missed against Newcastle. So for me, you have to play Kulusevski for that reason, to be able to get on the ball and get you up the pitch. I get there's question marks around his end product right now and stuff like that, but at least the guy can get you up the pitch. You know, he can get you up there. Whereas against Newcastle, at times we didn't have that option, especially when they relentlessly pressed us. So for me, that would be my front three, and it should be good enough to beat them.
Yeah, and just let me remind you that the last time we did play Arsenal in the North London derby, Sonny was in the number 9 and scored 2 goals. So I think he's got to stay there, surely. He's got to stay there.
Look, if he does, look, I'm not going to complain, right? But for me, that's what I would do for that front three, because one thing I fear going into the Arsenal game is if you play Johnson, Son, Werner, it's very one-dimensional, and they're not confident at the minute. They're not free-flowing. They're not creating. One thing I'll give Arsenal, I don't give them credit whatsoever. You know that. It's their defense is tight. It is watertight at this moment in time. So I fear if you go with the front three that happened, that played against Newcastle and other teams, I think it'll be a long out afternoon for Spurs fans.
You know what? I probably would have agreed with you a week ago, but seeing as the April has come in and Arsenal is starting to bottle it a little bit, their defence is starting to leak a few.
Well, look, we'll wait and see. You know yourself, form goes out the window in the North London derby. So we'll wait. My only hope is that, you know, they've got Wolves at the weekend and Chelsea midweek. My hope is that going into that North London derby, they already want to head out to Dubai on holiday. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, that would be lovely. But David, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to know your opinions out there. Where do you want to see? Do you want to see Sonny on the left, Sonny as the 9? If you had one statement signing to make in the front line this summer, in which position would it be? But David, thank you for joining us today. Everyone go and subscribe to the Irish Hotspur for some great Tottenham content. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.